Hello, Stitch Roadies. Well, I'm back home again. It has been quite a week and a half, let me tell you. But I had a great time. I was down in Sisters for the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Show, which is the second Saturday in July every year. And I was down there for a full week and was on the go pretty much every moment of each day. And then as soon as we came home, it was Nana camp time with my oldest grandson, and he is here with us this week. And it's been just such a fun time, But I feel exhausted, and I know I look exhausted. But I did get some stuff done, and don't worry, I have the winners' names written down. I have not mailed out anything. Mea culpa, mea culpa. And the last winner of the Santa, the Prairie Schooler Santa patterns is Margaret Yoder. Thank you so much, all of you, for entering. Margaret, congratulations, and I will put my email in the drop-down box, and please send me your mailing address and I will get it off to you. I swear I will do that for all of you this week that have won in the last two weeks. Yeah, I haven't even been able to get to the post office. A lot's happened in the stitching world since we last talked. I know that we lost Barb, Blackbird Designs, the one half of that design team, and I believe I was not home when I found out, and I was so shocked and so sad, as many of you have expressed on social media, that I ended up buying 5 Blackbird design charts. I haven't received them yet. I bought them all in the mail. I was on the road, and I can't even remember which ones I ordered. And I'm hoping that I didn't buy duplicates, but that was such a loss for many stitchers who are Blackbird design fans, or even in the quilting world. We have always embraced Blackbird designs. So that went on, and then while just as we were leaving Sisters, a fire started on the other side of the mountain in pretty much Oregon. Our natural disaster is fire. You know, some people have hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes. We have fire. And that also seems to be not uncommon across the United States. And so there were many people who were displaced, and but so far I have not heard of anybody, at least in our local communities, that have lost their homes, which is a blessing. Every year, that's what we worry about. So that was, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for all of you that are in the path of the latest round of fires. It's been so hot, and it's just dried everything up. And I know some of my friends on the other side of the mountain who have irrigation, their irrigation is being turned off, and so that's really being turned off early. That's really disconcerting, because you can't keep your defensible space green and watered. Yeah, it's been a weird weather year. Of course, don't we say that every year? Well, when I went down to Sisters, I took my Yazzie bag, you know, that was decorated with that fat quarter shop and stitch along, and it was perfect. You know, the thing, I just have to say again, I know I'm tooting a horn that many of you already know about, but these Yazzie bags are so durable because of the fabric they're made out of and the construction of them. And so what I've done is I put my project bags with the individual projects in my Yazzie bag and then put all my tools in there. So that was a blessing. And then it just takes up such a little space in the van. I did have a couple of finishes, and I finished, well, I had actually 3 finishes. I know, I have to think about this because I'm thinking that the way I'm approaching the Prairie Schooler Santas has made me more deliberate, if that's even conceivable. But I finished the Hello Liz Matthews, How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You, and now I just have to get a frame for that. And I love the simplicity of it. I just love the simplicity of it. And this was an anniversary start, I believe, for G and I. So I will get that framed and hung up. So sweet. So sweet. And I bought a new one. I might have already shown you that. I'm just kind of all over. But I did finish Satsuma Street Leo for my youngest grandson. I did it on white. And I think I'm going to frame it in a hoop. But I just love the colors. I'm beginning to think that these, you know, sometimes you think something is going to go really fast and it really doesn't, because there's a lot of stitching to these, what you would think would be small designs. I don't know if you found that, but yeah, I'm really happy that I got that done. And so now I have a little time to frame it. The bright colors are fun. And I finished my Prairie Schooler, my second Prairie Schooler Santa, and I FFO'd it into a little pillow. So there it is. So cute. I just stuffed it with that crushed walnut shells that you get at the pet store, and then I always put a little bit of polyfill here while I'm stitching it up so I don't end up with shells all over. But it was, and I always on these pillows line both of my stitchery and my backing with SF 101 just to give it a little more, you know, security, I guess. I'm looking for security. And so I'm doing these without any trim or anything. They're primitive and I want them to remain like that. And I'm going to make a trench bowl with them all stacked along, and I think it's going to be really cute sitting on my fireplace. So I was happy to get that done. We got a jet going over. It's a beautiful day. It's not too hot, which is nice after the hot weather we've had. Oh, we were just like, my poor plants were just like burning up. My next start, because you know what I said, when I have a Prairie Schooler done, I have to have a new one ready to go. And let's see what happened here. I just, I wonder where I put them. Oh well. What I did was that I decided that on this fabric that I'm using, that the beard doesn't really show up, and so I took 2 pieces of it and tea dyed it, not dark, just ever so slightly with peppermint tea, so it smells good too. And I hope that it's just dark enough that the white will really show up. And so the next one is from 2017 and is called the North Pole. I just love that polar bear. I just love it. And so I'm going to be doing that one next. Yay! But when I came home, I went through my project bags. Well, I didn't go through them all. What am I talking about? I was too pooped. I just thumbed through a couple of them, and I thought I was picking out a different project than I had intended, but this is Harry that I got from Barb, Lost in Floss, all through the night. I thought, oh, I've got to get that done. And so I started stitching on him again, and I am going to stitch him till he's done. It feels good. I have to say, it feels good to get some things. I mean, to have a little pile of empty project bags feels really good. I think, though, I need to cut this fabric because I think I intended to do all three of them on the same piece, and then I changed my mind. And so I'm having to deal with this big amount of fabric, and I don't want to anymore. I don't want to anymore. Can you tell I'm tired? Can you tell? So what have I been doing? I've been doing everything. Oh my gosh, it's just been crazy. I did, because G and I drove separately. He drove the van down to Sisters, and I drove my car because I had so many different things to be at or to meet up with people that I just felt like it would be such a pain to unhook the van for him to take me everywhere. So I said, you know, this trip I am just going to drive the car down, because we have, you know, all the parking spaces, the RV spaces are big, because usually people are camping in much bigger rigs than what we have. Yeah, those jets are really going to town today. So what I did when I was there was I spent the evening or early morning stitching on my cross stitch, and then the rest of the time was quilting projects. I did 4 Zoom classes in which I just carried on like this. The really nice part about it was that there was a conversation that I could respond to, you know, where poor you just have to listen to me babble, and you don't get to say anything back to me except in the comments. But because we drove in separate vehicles, I really got to enjoy my audiobooks. And the one book that I finished was quite thought-provoking on it was a fiction book. It was a fiction book, but it was so thought-provoking on so many different levels that I would recommend the book. I mean, if you're a mystery, a suspense kind of reader, and I have found in this, you know, in this last year, you know, my book tastes were all over the board. I am normally a nonfiction reader. I like things that I learn from, and I vacillate between fiction and nonfiction, and but my favorite genre is nonfiction. But in COVID, I became a diehard fiction reader, and I think maybe it's because of I was done with reality. Were you done with reality? I was done with reality. And so fiction books kind of came back into my life, and different types, you know. I didn't settle on one genre, although it's interesting what will pique your interest and what won't. So this book, if I could just stop my babbling, this book was called Dark Sky by C.J. Box. Geez, I need that little needle threader to that. I don't know what to do with it. That Sandy gave me. C.J. Box, and I've never read a C.J. Box book. This was my first one, and interestingly enough, it was recommended by a friend, and interestingly enough, it was his latest book. So he's written several different books, but in this particular series, this one was the 21st in this series with this particular character. So now I'm having to go back to the first one and start from the beginning and see if I like the earlier ones as much as I like this latest one. But this latest one, Dark Sky, it was interesting because it's talking about, how could I explain this? Well, it's like the coming together of different cultures, not different cultures in terms of different countries, but different ways of life within our own country. So basically the theme of the book is a billionaire tech mogul wants to be taken on a, I don't know what you call those, a hunt in Wyoming. And the governor of Wyoming really wants this guy to build his server farm. And it's interesting because Facebook built a server farm in the next county over from us, over on the other side of the mountains. And it does have a huge impact on the community and the state. So in this book, of course this is a fiction book, I know you guys are just going, just get that needle threaded. Oh my gosh, what the heck? Okay, I got it threaded. You can stop holding your breath. But, so the governor, back to this, gosh, my brain is kind of all over. The governor wants this billionaire tech mogul to build his server farm in Wyoming, and so when this billionaire wants to be taken on a real live hunt, elk hunt, not the kind where they release the elk in front of the hunters, but one where he has to work and walk and hike and hunt and butcher and process his elk. And naturally, it's a suspense book, so a lot happens in that book to the game warden that's assigned to take this billionaire on this hunt. I'm not going to give anything away, but what comes up in the book, besides these two cultures banging up against each other, is the concept of what social media is, how it's affecting people's lives. And that was a subject in the book that I was totally unprepared for. I was thinking this was a kind of an outdoorsman kind of book and hunting and stuff. But the whole conversation about what Facebook and Instagram, because you very rarely see anybody talking on Facebook or Instagram about trouble in their lives or hardships, or other than sometimes someone will say someone died in their family, or they've been sick, or they have surgery and can you pray for them, that kind of thing. But generally it's all a facade. It's all a facade. And you really don't get the nuances of what people are living moment to moment by their Facebook or Instagram feed. You're only getting one little snippet on what they want to project. And so it's a love-hate relationship, because you can maybe feel like you aren't, your life is in the toilet compared to someone else's, or oh my God, they're getting so many things done and you can't get anything done, or their children are perfect and yours are rotten, or oh my gosh, your relationship is challenging, or all the things. Not a whole, mostly it's positive things that people want to portray. But in that respect, there's people that see that feel not as fulfilled themselves. So that whole conversation in the book was very, very interesting, because it was like you weren't expecting it, I guess. You weren't expecting it. Well, I gotta see where I'm at here. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go 2 and 3. Okay. I wish I had saved the tag for what this fabric is. I'm pretty sure it's a 32 count. It looks like a 32 count. So I would recommend that book, Dark Sky. It's some parts of it are suspenseful, very suspenseful, and but it's thought-provoking. Let me just say it's thought, and it made me go to my library and request his first book in that series, because I thought maybe I would like these, to get to know these characters, because it is one of those series where the characters develop. So that is what I finished reading. And then I'm in the middle of another book that, let me see, what is it called? It is called, it's by Elizabeth Berg, and this was recommended by a friend of mine. And The Last Time I Saw You. The Last Time I Saw You. And it is about a 40-year class reunion, which is quite interesting. Because you don't have people that you haven't seen since you graduated from high school remain in your mind who they were when you graduated. But the reality of it is that we're just kids. We're just kids, and you grow and you change, and life experiences can make you a better person or a worse person. So it's kind of a fun read in terms of this 40 class year reunion. Yeah. It's just I've only been to, let's see, I've only been to one of my class reunions, and I think it was the 35. It was either the 30 or 35, and it was interesting. It was interesting. So I'm just stitching the little birds on this. Harry is with bunnies and carrots. Oh, this was the 30. This is all through the night. It's an all through the night pattern, which is Bonnie Sullivan. I know her because she's also a quilter and fabric designer. And in fact, her house burned to the ground in last year's fire, which was so sad for her. And but she designed or had the line of flannel that was just to die for. It was so yummy. So yummy. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to figure out what Blackbird designs, patterns I ordered. It's funny how you respond to sadness or grief in different ways, and I responded by wanting to just own every Blackbird out there. So what have you been doing? What have you been working on? I would like to know that. I found out this week. So, you know, when life gets out of control for me, schedule-wise, I have to give up things. And so I read very little of social media. I mean, I will post a picture now and then, but I'm not one of those people that has you know, that goes and looks at a whole day's worth. I just don't have the time for it as much as I would love to be inspired and enabled. But usually when I go to post a picture, at that snippet in time, I'll look at what's on my feed and I'll see what people are up to. But pretty much I can't keep up with it all. It's so much. And when I was just entrenched in the quilting world last week, I mean, we came home a day early because I just couldn't make the schedule go from moment to moment. I had to have a couple of hours of rest. And so we ended up coming home a day early, which for us was probably the right thing to do because the fire started the day we left, and it probably would have been a traffic disaster had we waited till the next day. I know someone talked to me about my voice. Someone made a comment about my voice. It's my allergies and asthma. Every so often it acts up, and depending on what's going on, and then I sound like Lauren Bacall or something. But I feel fine. It's just I have a sexy voice, a sexy cross-stitcher voice. What can I say? So what was I saying? Oh, I can't remember. Oh, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. I know, you can put it in the comments. You were about to say something about... Oh, yeah, so it's really hard for me to keep up on social media and also keep up on my stitching or my quilting. And then I got home and I just wanted to have a calm moment. And so I was looking, I mean, the list of floss tubes that I've missed is a mile long. It's just a mile long. It's going to take me all winter to catch up. But I found out that I now have a namesake out there, which was like, holy moly. Yeah, a chicken was named after me. I was like, but then they said that chicken will probably not follow the rules or something, which is probably true, but gosh, she's already pegged as a troublemaker in the coop. But I was so tickled because Stitching with the Sisterlies, Cheryl named a chicken after me. Oh, she's going to be the nicest chicken. She'll get lost all the time, but she'll be a nice chicken. Yeah. So that was kind of fun to find out. I'm definitely going to have to cut this fabric. The quilt show was fabulous. Not that some of you would be even interested in that, but it was fabulous. And it was fun meeting lots of different people and seeing old friends. And I did meet up with my quilt group, which there's some cross stitchers in there, so I ended up with a pass-along pattern, which was nice. Nice to share the stash kind of thing. This is so cute. You know, for these small things, these small things like this, you would think it would go really fast, but if you see how dense, it's kind of like stitching houses, how dense the sweater is. I mean, the pants are a checkerboard tweed kind of pants, and so that's going to take forever to stitch the pants. I feel like there's a new start in my life. I'm trying to see which one is going to call to me. I almost fell down a rabbit hole today. My oldest grandson and I went to Barnes & Noble, and I saw the primitive stitcher and punch needle, I think it's called. And I didn't get it, but when I flipped through it, there was a punch needle with beehives. Oh, I tell you, I was this close to getting it, and then getting all the supplies to do the punch needle. No, not going there. I am not going there. Let's see. Actually out. Yeah, summertime is a tough time to, I mean, there's so much to do. There's gardening to do, camping, just being outside. It's so wonderful that it's, a lot of stuff gets thrown by the wayside, doesn't it? I know I must have had some haul, but I can't remember what I've shown you and what I haven't. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. I really do enjoy this time. I told G, I said, I've missed Stitch Roadies because it kind of, it kind of spurs me on to get some stuff done and see what everybody's doing. And one, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But we'll see you the next time. Margaret, don't forget to email me your address. I would appreciate that. And let's see, I'm not sure when I'm going to be going to Acorns and Threads again. Actually, it might be on Saturday because I have to take my grandson home, and he lives closer to Acorns and Threads than I do. He's such a good grandson. So maybe I'll swing by there then. We'll see. You guys all take care, and thanks. Sorry I was so tired today, but I enjoyed talking with you.